scoring good marks into the JEE mains examination, and then you are again scoring good marks into the JEE advanced examination, or you are not scoring very good marks into the JEE advanced examination. So do you think there is a relation between scoring marks in mains and advanced? And if yes, so this is what we define with the conditional probability, that we are doing something irrespective of the fact that whether something has occurred, and if this something is going to affect, then we can say that this is conditional probability. And with all the incurred knowledge of sample space, events, algebra of events and everything, this is the major starting point of probability. If you can understand this, you can rock on with every question. So let's start the topic and understand the deep-rooted understanding of the chapter conditional probability. So after independent events, conditional probability is the new concept that we are going to learn. So let's deal with this and start what is into this concept. So what is conditional probability? The probability of occurrence of any event B when it is known that some event A has already occurred, that is known as the conditional probability. So let's understand what do we mean by this. Conditional probability is something in which we'll take help of a certain event which has happened, and based on that we'll try to find out the probability of new event in which we are interested. And in terms of mathematics, this is what is the representation. Probability of B slash A slash is read as probability of event B given that A has occurred. As you can see, the symbol B by A is usually read the probability that B occurs given that A occurs, or simply probability of B given A. Now let's understand much more deeply what is this exactly. Suppose I have an event whose sample space is 2, 3, 4, 6 and 8. Now I am trying to find out an event B which is existence of an even number less than 6, right? Or let's say I am taking B as an even number less than 10. This will be much more specific, or less than 12. So what will be the total number of data elements that I'll consider into this? This will be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? So if this is the total data set, now what I'm telling you is I want to do the same experiment of event B, but given the fact that I have already taken my event A. Right? So if already event A has happened, my sample space has been restricted to only this. So I only have these many elements, and from these many elements I need to take out all those even numbers who are less than 12. So number of sample points that are going to exist in B given A will be nothing but 2, 4, 6 and 8. There will be no 10 because 10 is not in this A. So see, this is the basic difference when we'll directly take the event and when we'll take event given that a condition is being implied and impromptu over that. Let us see it mathematically. Let S is the sample space which we have shown in the rectangular format of the Venn diagram, and A is certain event and B is certain event, whereas there is something which is in the intersection. So if alone B is happening, I am least bothered whether A has happened or not. But when I am trying to say that I need to consider only those points of B in which A is also intermixed, so which means in the second part I am only considering this possibility, the blue one. But while in the first case I am considering the complete B which I'll take from the sample space. So if I'm going to just find out the probability of B, this will contain the complete circle and number of elements in B upon the number of elements in sample space. But I'm considering probability of B given that A has occurred, so my sample space has restricted itself to the elements of A, and I'm only going to take this double shaded part, and that will be nothing but A intersection B upon number of elements in S. So this is how we normally understand the conditional probability. Now let's put some more maths into it. So what I have done, I have considered two events A and B, and of a sample space S. When it is known that even A has occurred, it means that the sample space would reduce to the sample points representing event A. It's exactly the same thing what we have discussed. This is A and this is B. So if I'm only considering B, I am pretty sure that I'll take all the elements and sample points that is present in B. But if I am considering a conditional probability in which I'll have to consider the elements of A also, I'll take this part. This is what is being explained into this. So the sample points which we will consider into the conditional probability will be the intersection part. Hence, so let us see how it is represented. Probability of B given A has occurred will be nothing but probability of A intersection B upon the total number of elements into the sample space A, because now my sample space has been restricted. So consider the example again in which A was 2, 4, 6, 8 and B was something even number less than 12. So if I generally want to find out the probability of P given A, first I'll consider the common points, and because my new sample space has converted itself to the total elements of A, and that is what is the condition that is being provided onto this. So this will be number of elements in A intersection B and total number of elements in A divided. So hence, in order to convert this into probability, I will divide both numerator and denominator with sample space. I will finally come out with a formula that will be nothing but probability of B given A is nothing but the common intersection of A and B, and that is divided by the probability of A. So that's what we can say, that probability of B given A is there, and where the probability of A is into the region 0 till less than 1, because A is coming in the denominator. A cannot be an impossible event. If probability of A becomes 0, probability of B given A will be undefined event, because we are trying to find out the probability of event B with respect to event A, occurrence of which is an impossible task, right? So the formula will become this: probability of A intersection B upon probability of A. Similarly, on the same pattern, if I want to find out probability of B slash A, the probability of B is less than 1, that will become probability of A intersection B and probability of B. So what I can say, that probability of A intersection B will be nothing but probability of B given A into probability of A, and it will also be equal to probability of A given B into probability of B. And see, if A and B become independent events, then what I can say is, I can say that whether A has occurred or A has not occurred, I am least bothered in case of independent events. So for independent events, that is how we get to the formula that probability of A intersection B is nothing but probability of A into probability of B. So hence what I can say, that probability of A intersection B will be nothing but probability of A into probability of B given A, given that probability of A is greater than 0, or probability of B or probability of A given B, given that probability of B is greater than 0. Now let us consider an example. Find out the probability that a year chosen at random has 53 Sundays. Now this is a very interesting question. At first you won't find anything that will help you out, but let's make it pretty sure how to do it. So if I have considered a year, right, which means I have considered 365 days, right? Now if I have considered 365 days, if I divide it with 7, what will I get? 7, 5, 35, 15, 7, 2, 14, 52 weeks and 1 day. Now this 1 day can be anything out of 7 days. So if I want this to be a Sunday, which means I am expecting that this will be nothing but 1 over 7, right? But what the fact is, if I am considering a leap year, so which means a leap year will terminate with 366 days, right? So with 366 days, I can say that I'll have 52 weeks and I'll have 2 days. So that 2 days I can write it as either Sunday, Monday, Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Wednesday and Thursday, Thursday and Friday, Friday and Saturday, and the next pair will be Saturday and Sunday. So in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs, I'll have Sunday in 2 pairs, in which Sunday and Monday is considered and Saturday and Sunday are coming. So I can say that when the total number of days are 366, I'll have probability of Sunday as 2/7. But that's not the point. The point is, first of all, I need to get an year. Right? And what do I know from my general knowledge? That out of every 4 years, I will have 1 leap year and 3 normal years. So can I say that the probability of getting a leap year out of given sample space, and you consider a huge statistical data, that 1/4 will be the probability of getting a leap year, and probability of not getting a leap year will be 3/4. Now if I have done that, so can I say that, consider an event that 53 Sundays. So 53 Sundays can occur in 2 manners. Either this is a leap year or it is not a leap year. Right? In leap year, so the probability of the event A will be nothing, probability of leap year into probability of Sunday in that, plus probability of not leap year and probability of Sunday in that. So this is the final answer. So what I can say is that probability of leap year will be nothing but 1/4, and probability of Sunday is nothing but 2/7, plus probability of not leap year is 3/4, and probability of Sunday is 1/7. So this will be nothing but 2 plus 3/28, and this will be 5/28. Hence the answer. See the last question, in which we dealt with the probability of finding 53 Sundays in a year chosen at random. So these are the questions which will test you the understanding of the concept of conditional probability. Have you understood sample space? Have you understood conditional probability? Have you understood algebra of events? So these are the certain questions which will specifically pick up the topics of understanding into the chapter of probability. And if you have mastered all of them, JEE is a very simple task for you. So I hope this part was clear. Stay tuned for the next coming part, in which we will learn about Bayes' theorem, total probability theorem, and the binomial trials.